Hello, and yes, I'm sorry if I appear that I'm a little prudish, prurient, or whatever. Has Lee Anderson gone too far? Yes, I think he has. Uh, but has he done anything out of character? No, he simply exposed the slimy underbelly of what is current conservatism, which is pandering to the very worst aspects of our national character. And I like to sort of just clarify the issue with the previous uh, thing with the person who was talking about Winston Weed. Winston Weed, as far as I know, has never apologised to me or to the person that he made a racist slur about. But he has apparently apologised to the friends who were also involved in the dialogue. So who were indeed very keen that this person should apologise to them. So very good from that point of view. I'm always pleased to applaud and salute positivity. And thank you very much for interceding, Zulu warrior. And thank you. As for other people involved in this saga, uh, Lee Anderson defends himself by saying, I think people have had enough. These people come across the channel in small boats. If they didn't like conditions they're housed in, then they can go back to France or better not come here in the first place. Well, maybe, but we can't send people back to France, no matter what the rhetoric suggests, because we don't have the Dublin III protocol in order. And I think even those people who do have the Dublin III protocol in order, like Ireland, are experiencing their own problem with migration. In other words, this is an international problem, and we are too stupid to take the initiative and to call an international conference and deal with the issues of the Refugee Convention from 1951. Now, one of the reasons that Australia didn't have so many problems as we are facing is that it wasn't a signatory to the 1951 Refugee Convention, this thing that was inspired by Winston Churchill. Also, Australia is a different place, as I am learning from my friends in Australia. And I'm very grateful for their intervention and support and advice. But Australia is a different situation. Now, if Suella Braverman were really doing her homework, but of course she's lazy, she would have gone to Christmas Island. She would have had a look directly at the Australian experience, and that may possibly have informed what she did with her Rwanda experiment, instead of just simply throwing money at a problem and a solution that presents itself because no other solution appears. There are solutions to this problem, but they aren't easy, and they can't be, I think they cannot be effected unilaterally, and that, I'm afraid, is Suella Braverman's problem. Equally, Suella Braverman has been trained as a lawyer. That's probably where the laziness comes from. But she ought to know that the essence of lawyering is looking up all the various rulings which have been made based on a particular principle, the principle of applying for asylum in the first safe country, going directly to that safe country. Those two statements in Article 51 of the 1951 Refugee Convention are not clear in and of themselves. They need clarification, and they must be read within the context of the various rulings which have been made since then, and those rulings effectively allow for transit of about 70 days. 70 days transit through safe countries, or ostensibly safe countries. And we can't simply apply the principles of the Dublin III Protocol once we have left it and without having made any effort to reproduce it or redefine it or accept it in the Brexit agreement. Because, again, Lord Frost was too stupid and too lazy to negotiate this. Maybe he wasn't the lazy one. Maybe it was other people who were lazy. But that lack of foresight is definitely down to him and the people who were negotiating Brexit. That lack of foresight, which left us with the Northern Ireland problem and with the refugee crisis. Now, you could say, maybe that refugee crisis, maybe the small boats would still have come. I'm sure they would. But instead of being in a position where we are emasculated by Brexit, we would be in a position where we are concerned in the same way that Ireland is concerned. We would be handling this with our friends. Instead, we are alone. And we're having to forge new friendships with obscure countries in Africa that have a very, very shady relationship to human rights. Why is Rwanda one of the worst countries we could actually be doing this deal with? Because Rwanda has a history of treating refugees badly. And the fact that we are hiding that, the fact that Suella Braverman can sit on a national television program with Laura Newsberg and say, "Oh, I don't know about that," is simply disingenuous and crazy. So we must either conclude that our Home Secretary really hasn't done any of the work, or that she is just a liar. Either stupid, lazy, or lying. Because Rwanda has a very well-documented history of abusing and killing refugees, particularly those who protest about the conditions in which they're being kept. And it hasn't done a clear and transparent review of that issue. So language matters. Language matters, and we need to be very careful about the language that we use publicly. And I'm all in favour of entertaining language. I have a great interest, for example, in the lyrics of drill. So yes, I'm not afraid of language, but I think the language that Lee Anderson is using as the deputy chairman of the Conservative Party is inappropriate to his office, as I think also is his costume. There we are. Enough about Lee Anderson. Let's move on to more interesting subjects.